Hello, it's 9 p.m. in RTD. It's time to English New Edition for tonight headlines. We have President Gele decorated with the medals of a leader by the President of the Parliament of the League of Arab States. The opening of the sixth editions of the Forum of Ideas. The first meeting for an international treaty against plastic pollution is in Uruguay. Welcome to our newsroom. President Gele decorated with the highest distinctions awarded by the League, by the Parliament of the League of Arab States. The head of state, His Excellency Ismail Omar Gele, was decorated this Sunday at the end of the morning at the Palace of the Republic with the highest distinction awarded by the Parliament of the League of Arab States. It was the Speaker of the Arab Parliament, Mr. Adel bin Abdurrahman, who made the trip to Djibouti to personally present the President to the President of the Republic with the insignia mark of distinction. The audience was attended by the President of the National Assembly, His Excellency Mohammed Ali Mohammed, and the Ambassador of Djibouti to Egypt, Ahmed Ali Barri. In an interview, the president of the Parliament of Arab League, Mr. Adel, said that the medal is awarded to the President of the Republic, His Excellency Ismail Omar Gele, is a recognition of the role of the head of state for his participation in the pacification and promotion of peace and security in the region, but also for his commitment and his unwavering support for the leadership of the Arab League. The President of the Parliament stressed that the Republic of Djibouti plays a leading role in the Arab League. Its geostrategic position and its stability is an asset to address the many challenges facing Arab countries, said in substance the President of the Arab League. The President of the National Assembly, Mohammed Ali Mohammed, said that it is a tribute and a reward for our President for his commitment and activities for development, security, and diplomacy. It honors the strong privileged link that he has maintained with the Arab League countries. It was this morning at the People's Palace where the sixth edition of the Ideas Forum of Heritage Institute opened. Known to all, this annual Forum of Somali Intellectuals is this year organized by the Heritage Institute with the University of Djibouti, chaired by the Minister of Environment, Mohammed Abdul Qadir Musa Helem. This sixth edition topical theme was on the agenda in these discussions, the effects of climate change and conflicts in this part of the world. The climate are plural questions that brought together a host of renewed Somali intellectuals from all over the world. It should be remembered that the climate of tomorrow is certainly uncertain today, but the major trends are known. Today, the Horn of Africa is experiencing the greatest effects of climate change of any regions in the world, reshaping the security landscape. Today, drought and climatic phenomena affect millions of people and threaten their livelihoods. This Forum of Ideas is a veritable laboratory of ideas, platforms for exchanging ideas. So to speak, crossroad around with the meet once a year, their role and to bring their stones to the buildings in terms of peace, security, also governance in the Horn of Africa's region. And yes, for 3 days it will be a question of sharing knowledge and exchanging experiences on climate change, where the Somali intellectuals, elites, and researchers will cross their visions on environmental issues and new health challenge. Moreover, this sixth edition, which focuses on climate change, comes at the time when the Republic of Djibouti has taken the lead on this issue, which is everyone's business after the head of state, His Excellency Ismail Omar Gele, inaugurated a regional observatory on environment and climatic research Since its inauguration, this regional research observatory has played a significant role in creating a regional platform for data on scientific research and data environment and climate, but also in formulating relevant strategies and producing new knowledge to deal with the consequences of climate change. This forum of ideas organized by the think tank, the heritage institutions, and these 3 days work will lead the recommendations and the government, any organizations or structures invested with the powers of action. For his part, the Minister of Environment and Sustainable Development, Mohammed Abdul Qadir Musa Helem, said that the Republic of Djibouti has hosted this ceremony, and the climatic change and the problems of the Horn of Africa. He said that thanks to the participation of the honorable guest and the President of the Republic, His Excellency Ismail Omar Guelleh, and the Heritage Institute, today drought and climatic phenomenon affects millions of people and threaten their livelihoods. This forum of ideas is a veritable laboratory of ideas, a platform for exchanging ideas, so to speak, a crossroad around which they meet once a year. Their role to bring their stones to the buildings in term peace, security, and also governance in the Horn of Africa's region. This Sunday, December 4, 2022, members of the Somali Commissions for Social Development of the Environmental Protections and members of the Commission for the Legislation at the National Assembly General Administration and Human Rights examined it under the leadership of the Chairman Hassan Gedi Adan. The agenda of these sessions will focus on the review of the Bill number 174E and 2022 8L on the adoptions of the National Child Policy 2022-2023. In this context, the government was represented by the Minister of Women and Family, Musa Muna Osman Adan, after having exhausted a number of subjects relating in particular to the management team. The members of the Commission have transmitted their opinion on the 2022 fiscal years favorable to the next public meeting. The training center of the basic for teachers of basic education, Omar Guelleh Ahmed, organized this morning's ceremony to launch the training on the didactics of mathematics to the profiles of pedagogical advisor and trainers of CFF. The Director General of CFF, Ms. Aisha Farah Iltiri, accompanied by the Director of the trainings, Mr. Awale Abdul Qadir Hersi, and the Director of Schooling, Mr. Dabar Musa, were present, sponsored the official launch of the training on the didactics of mathematics law that will take place from 4 to 8 December 2022. More than 20 pedagogical advisors and trainers are participating in this. Trainers are participating in this highly important training for the professional development of MENFOP staff. This training, in partnership with the ALIF, is provided by 2 experts, in this case, Mr. Marka Afonion and of the IFU, and the Djiboutian expert Salteri Abdul Qadir Abdi. The objective of this training are on the didactic aspects of the primary transition is for the 5th year, and the didactic of mathematics in secondary school. The closing of this training is scheduled for this Thursday, December 8, 2022. The National Institute of Statistics of Djibouti hosted this morning an important training workshop for cartographer. This training took place in the INAP conference room. This training was chaired by the director of Institute, Mr. Idris Ali Sultan, and saw the participations of the representative of the World Bank in Djibouti, Mr. Rick, and the administrative and financial directors of the institute, Mr. Idil Saeed Sheikh. This 12-day training workshop was arranged by the international experts and was benefited by the agents of the interior region and the agents of the capital. The particularity of this third census is that it will use new information and communication techniques. It involves producing digital maps and collecting data electronically using tablets or a smartphone. The objectives of this training are part of capacity buildings in order to allow participants to appropriate the methodology and the technical documents for collecting data from the map of the third RGPH General Census of the Population and Housing. The representative of the World Bank in Djibouti, Mr. Rick, said that this training is part of the excellent cooperation between the World Bank and the Republic of Djibouti. For his part, the director of the institute, Mr. Idris Ali Sultan, thanked the agents benefiting from the training of the third population and housing census. The particularity of this third census is that it will use new information and communication techniques. It involves producing digital maps and collecting data electronically using tablets. The CM Hash of Tajora launched the first phase of the vaccination campaign against polio. It is from the first hours that the vaccination campaign began. The launch of the campaign was attended by the President of the Regional Council, Mr. Abdul Qadir Omar, the Deputy Prefect, Mr. Habib Jilani, and the UNICEF representative in Tajora, as well as a representative of the civil society, in accordance with the chief doctors and the deployed teams of the health workers and other volunteers trained in the different neighborhoods of the city, going door to door in the shift towns and in the remote areas to vaccinate children aged from 0 to 5 years. Before launching this second phase of vaccination against polio, census of households in different parts of the city was conducted for 3 days in order to facilitate the work of vaccinators, but also so that at the end of this second phase, children aged from 0 to 5 years are all vaccinated. Under the leadership of the Ministry of Health and Management of the Regional Hospital of Ali Sabih, Dr. Ahmed Absiye launched the fourth phase of the polio vaccination campaign at the CMH of Ali Sabih. This ceremony was attended by the prefect of the region, Musa Adan Migane, the president of the regional council, Sharmaki Hassan Al-Lali, the members of parliament, Honorable Abdosi Kiyediriye, the acting general director of Ali Sabih Regional Hospital, Dr. Abraha, noted that all the teams of the regional hospital of Ali Sabih have mobilized to carry out this vaccination campaign against polio. In his speech, the member of parliament, Abdosi Kiye, urged the population and more particularly the parents to vaccinate their children by taking advantage of this vaccination and door-to-door campaign. The objective is to eradicate and prevent polio, strengthening the immunity of an age group particularly vulnerable to childhood disease preventable. Still in the framework of the preparations of the competition of the 12th edition of the CGSOE, early this morning, Sunday, December 4, the Secretary General of the Secretary of State in charge of Sports, Ms. Khadija Ibrahim Idris, accompanied by the sports directors and the head of delegations and deputy, Ms. Qureshi Ali Geti, Ms. Medina Ali Dimbio, visited the young athletes. They went with their coaches and at the sports complex for low intensity training sessions as the sport event will start on Monday 4 December 2022. After this morning reaching generals and specific physical exercises with tactical and technical variations, the young people will prepare for the official opening ceremony of the 12 CGSOE games, which will take place at the Côte d'Or Sports Complex from 4 p.m. Djibouti times, and particularly the parade of the different nations members of the CGSOE. The Mboya family is looking for their son, Philippe Mboya, 50 years old. He was last seen yesterday, Saturday, at 5 p.m. leaving his home and going to a nearby store, la siesta, to buy from credit. He was wearing a white and black shirt and white short, was carrying a backpack with his laptops in it. In case of discovery, please contact the Central Police Station Standards number 21 at 35 27 621, or go to the headquarters of the Brigade des Mineurs, but also on 77637400. For the international scene, the first meeting for an international treaty against plastic pollution is every year. 4 million tons of plastic are produced in the world. This vast, which is dangerous for the environment and for living beings, often floods beaches, forests, and the ocean floor to limit their presence. An international treaty is being negotiated. The first phase was completed in the city of Punta del Este in the southern Uruguay. There is a lot of to unpack here. Introduced Inger Anderson, Executive Director of the United Nations Environment Programme. We must eliminate and replace problematic and unnecessary plastic items. Ensures that plastic products are designated to be reusable and recyclables and compostable where possible. Ensures that plastic products move in practice, or not just in theory and on papers. This is it for the news. Thanks for watching us. Have a good evening.